Hey y'all, hey, so we're back for the last two episodes of Rags to Riches, episode 7 and 8. I feel like I can combine these two episodes because not really a lot happened in these last two episodes. Before I really get into the two episodes, because again, it's not really much, let me just kind of wrap up my thoughts for the whole season. I will say that the show was much more entertaining than I expected it to be, so I will say that. It gave me more content to talk about than I thought. I will say that. I will also say that I do think that they should come back for a season two minus Jules. So bring everybody else back, but don't bring Jules back. We could actually take Jules out, and we could actually technically put Miranda there if you want if you want my own opinion. I think we could put Miranda there, but we could put either another black woman there, or we could just take Jules out altogether. But I do not want to see Jules after what she pulled the last episode. There's no excuse. There is no excuse for her to be around this group of women. So, like, that's just how I feel about that. I feel like if I kind of go through all of the girls, how I feel about them at the top half versus the second half of the season, let's start off with Ashley. I feel like the second half of the season, we got to see a little bit more of like Ashley as a person. And I do wish that throughout the season, they would have spent a little bit more time focusing on like Ashley and Portia's like home life versus Ashley and Portia kind of being up Sharelle's ass. Portia, if I move on to her, definitely second half of the season, we saw a little bit more of her and her personality versus her being up Sharelle's ass. Who we got? Who else we got? Sade. Sade has been flawless to me this whole season. She hasn't dropped not the ball not one time. She's been clocking people left and right. I like her. Other than the only flaw that Sade has is that she's friends with Jules. That's the only flaw that my sis got. Other than that, she's awesome. The MVP, the person who deserves like the gold star, the Olympic medal for this whole season would be my girl Alexis. I'm talking about a bright spirit. I'm talking about someone that just radiates great energy, had great advice, was literally neutral in the middle, was able to tell both sides when they were wrong, never let the other side talk badly about the other person in front of them, gave solid advice to everybody. Alexis, to me, sorry Sharelle, but I think Alexis should be a center, whatever you want to call it, like we have it in Housewives. She should be in the center because if we really want to talk about who's like the glue of the group, it's not Sharelle, it's Alexis. Point blank, period. My favorite person next to Sade of this whole thing is Alexis. And then we have Stoney. Stoney, I feel as if top half of this season, we really didn't get to see much of her. She was really, like, to me, in my opinion, very much so misunderstood. Second half of the season is Stoney pretty much kind of, she getting back for what y'all did to the Cold Crush in the first half of the season. So I'm not even mad at her. Overall, like I said, I think the show was pretty good. I thought it was like enough drama mixed with like, like wealth, and business acumen from, all of the ladies. So I like the show. Again, I think it should come back for a season two. I seen that it was trending this weekend. I see that more people are starting to like review the show. So I do think that it has legs. I do think that Sharelle is going to have to work on her image if she does come back next season. I think next season she's gonna have to, like, I don't want to say play kiss ass, but she's really either she's gonna lean all the way into being the bad guy, or she's gonna do the complete opposite and pull a Giselle, like the way that Giselle's acting this season. But let's get into it. So episode 7, Lexi comes to Stoney's boutique, and Stoney is explaining to Lexi, her whole business. She has a brick and mortar, boutique. Now, Lexi said it's in a really, really good spot, but Stoney says her problem is that she purchased way more inventory that she needed. So she said, I just purchased a whole bunch of inventory before I even had a customer, which is like, who girl? Like, it's nothing wrong. See, here's the thing. I don't know nothing about fashion because I ain't in it, but I am in marketing, which is what she said that she needed help with, right? And I will say that For you to buy like $100,000 worth of inventory and not have one customer, that means that you don't even know who your customer base is. You don't know what your customer likes. So why would you go and buy all of these pieces? But I can understand she probably was just like really excited to get started on the business, but no. She said that she is currently selling online, as well as she has like, you know, like a Insta boutique or whatever, a boutique on Instagram. But she says she does not have marketing, which is that's what I went to school for. That's what I have my master's in. That's what I currently do. I work in marketing in corporate America. So Stony, if you ever need help, hit your girl up. I don't know much about fashion, but marketing as a whole, I can help you out. But anyway, but she did say that she got MJ, you know, as a brand ambassador, although she hasn't really been posting a lot of her stuff recently, but she's starting to do other little things. Let me say this, Stony. We got to start from the very beginning, which is what Fancy and Sharelle was trying to say like a little bit later, like at the event, which is like, you need to understand who your customer is. And it sounds like Stony knows who her customer is, but then you have to feed them in a lot of ways outside of what you're actually presenting with in your store. Your marketing campaigns and everything has to reach that audience and not just reach them like via like, you know, social media or the internet, but you got to be able to physically touch those customers, see what they want. Maybe some of the stuff that you're carrying they're not really into. So even going into like market research, you know, talking to your customers, doing surveys, these are the things that's going to help you, Stony, number one, understand, because we have to start off by understanding who your customer is. Have to understand your customer, what's your ideal customer, what are they looking for? What are they not looking for? Their likes, their dislikes. What is their income? Are they single? Are they married? A lot of different things. You need to figure out who your ideal customer is, and then you can kind of feel like move forward. Great. You know, Stony also says, you know, she feels like she's at the point where maybe she should just do online only. And Lexi was like, okay, well, this, like your store is in a good spot and it's, you know, pretty big. So you can always use it, you know, as like an event space. You know, you could always rent it out to people, which I think that's a great idea. If you took your boutique and put it online, then you could definitely use your brick and mortar and just rent it out for space. Like people always need something to do in Miami. They're always going to need this space. And if your location is really good, the way that she's saying that it is, then you should have no problem being able to rent it out when needed. Or even if you don't want to use it as an event space, you could just literally rent it out to somebody else, you know, another brick and mortar store or whatever. So then we have Sharelle, Portia, Lexi, and Ashley. I will say also that it's very clear, like the clicky click up within this group, how it's like Sharelle, Portia, Lexi, and Ashley, and then it's Stony, Sade, and Jules kind of over here to the side. I don't really like that, but that's kind of how it is on Women Ensembles. There's always a clicky up. But they went dancing. And long story short of that scene is they were dancing and asking Sharelle, okay, you need to get it together because you're going to get married soon. And Sharelle pretty much was like, no, all of that's on pause. It's all on hold until we get the prenup together. The prenup ain't right. And so until we get the prenup right, we ain't getting married. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at you, Sharelle. I wouldn't get married either until my prenup was right. I understand wholeheartedly. I ain't got nothing negative to say about that. So then we move on to Stony's event, right? So Stony said that she was having an event, right, where she was pretty much gonna be showing like pieces and stuff that she has for like the new season coming up. Now, mind you, from my understanding, the way that like Fancy said it, it was in the summertime, so like June, July. Now we get there, Stony's daddy was there, thirsty as hell. I'm not mad because that old man was like, y'all gonna give me a heart attack, all of y'all fine ass women coming in here. So all of the girls show up. Sharelle brings Fancy, who is the boutique owner that we saw like a couple episodes ago, right? And what was confusing about it is that Stony only had one rack of clothes. One rack of clothes. Just one. And it wasn't even presented in a very nice way. It was literally just like against the wall. That was it. It literally looked like they threw the event at somebody's like house or some shit like that. And there was like a little like kitchenette right here. The clothes was right here, which wasn't that many clothes on the rack. And that was that. And that was confusing. So this is my thing. Because we'll get into some of the stuff that everybody else said. But my thing is like, Fancy said later that the way that you present your clothes is always going to mean a lot. He's not lying. I'm not like the best. Like, I'm not like a fashionista or nothing, but I can put an outfit together. But I will say that when I walk into a store, for me, a lot of times what mostly catches my eye, and a lot of times what I end up buying, is what I see sometimes on like a mannequin. Even if it's not like the mannequin that's standing right there, sometimes it's like a mannequin that's sitting up on a wall that's like, styled together pretty nicely. A lot of times those are the outfits I go for because I can see it in its entirety. And I'm like, oh, okay. So my thing is, in my opinion, I feel like, Stony, if you were going to show off your quote unquote rack and it wasn't really like a lot of clothes there, I think it would have been better to have mannequins like kind of all around the space to actually show off the clothes, so that at least it made it seem like you had more clothes. Like when you just putting clothes on a rack like that, and then as Fancy said, nothing is really jumping out. It's all about how you present it. So you could have presented those same outfits, but again, had them on mannequins, and I feel like the reception would have been a little bit better. It's all about presentation, right? So she pretty much tells everybody that the way that she does it is that she buys all of the clothes wholesale, and then she sells them for retail to, the girls. So Fancy and Sharelle kind of goes outside and they're talking, and Fancy is like, well, first of all, Sharelle made it clear, like, this is not my friend. This is just somebody that I want to help, but this is not my friend. I'm going to say this. I think that Sharelle, like I said, if Sharelle is as business-minded as she seems, I think Sharelle may have thought about the way that she was coming off like at the top half of the season and realized, okay, maybe I need to pull it back a little bit because, I claim to be about all this women empowerment, all of this, but I'm bringing another woman down. And especially because I let a white woman, Jules, kind of be all up in our daggone faces, and I didn't really say much about that. So I think that with everything that happened with Jules and everything else, I think maybe she realized that she had to pull back a little bit. I'm gonna get into some of the comments too that I seen that Sharelle kind of posted. We're gonna get into that kind of like probably at the end of at the end of this both episodes. We're gonna get into some of the comments that she has left in some of her Twitter activity, because it's all making me feel a little weird, right? So anyway, so like I said, so Sharelle says to Fancy, like, oh, that's not my friend, but I still want to help her. And Fancy, although he is over the top, obviously, I think he had a lot of very solid advice. So when he was saying to Sharelle, like, come on, like when you look at her rack, because I think Sharelle had put on like a fur or something that was on a rack, and the fur was cute, but Fancy was like, you do not put a fur on the floor of your boutique in June and July. That does not make any sense. We need bikinis, flowy dresses, things that are, just very lightweight, not sequin ass dresses that people could go down, at the fucking Miami Beach and fucking wear. Like, that's not what's gonna like get you. And I'm sorry, but he's right. Like, if it's June, July, a fur is doing what? You in Miami, sis, you gonna need, like he said, bikinis, flowy dresses, bitch. What is it called? A caftan, a caftan, whatever the hell it is. One of them little flowy things. Like he said, kimonos. Like, you need very flowy, lightweight shit in the summertime in Miami. You having the furs doing what? It's doing what? It's cute, but it's the summertime. Who the hell got time for that? Nobody. So we go back inside, and Stoney is talking more to the rest of the girls, so like Keita and Lexi, I think, and some other girls or whatever, about everything. And I will say this, I feel like in this scene or episode, I feel like Keita and Sharelle, I feel like we're doing like a lot of like fastball questions. Now, they were very important questions, but it kind of came off like, all right, y'all, like back up, slow down a little bit. It's obvious. Well, I won't say it's obvious. It seems like you guys mean well, but it's also coming off a little bit like overbearing a little bit. So it's like, say your piece, maybe ask your question here and there, but like otherwise kind of fall back, right? So Keita was just asked all these questions. Like I said, good questions, but it just felt like a lot. And Stoney pretty much was like, well, my customer is the girl who can't necessarily afford Neiman Marcus, but would still, kind of like, like to look high end. So Keita was just pretty much explaining, that she used to do like swimwear or whatever, and she had to shift and pivot towards that like after or during the pandemic to software, because software is gonna last. Now I'm gonna tell you this, Keita. Keita, you a bitch like me. Keita's a bitch like me. Because let me tell you something. If something is not working, dream or not, if something's not working and it's not making no dollars, like she said, it could be a dream, but is it making dollars? No. I would absolutely shift to something else. I'll give y'all an example. Growing up, I wanted to be a journalist. Like, that was my dream job, was to really be a journalist. I wanted to be a journalist for like a very big like news publication, the New York Times, because I grew up in New York. Like the Post before it was terrible. I wanted to write for these very big publications. However, as I started to get older, I started to realize that the worth in journalism was like coming down to nothing. People today could give two shits about journalism. They don't pay people in journalism, let alone, like I said, nobody even cares. You can literally like just write anything and people will believe it. It's not like how I was when I was growing up. So because of that, I was like, let me kind of shift, and I shifted over to marketing, because I was like, okay, I could still kind of be like creative in a way, but that's also something like an industry or something that I feel like that I can get into that is like it's something that like can be here for a very long time. Everything is marketing, little do y'all know. So I'm with Keita when she says sometimes you have to like shift and like do other things, right? So then you have Stoney comes outside and she talks to Fancy and Sharelle. And again, Fancy just kind of giving her some advice. And Sharelle was like, I know we had a lot of problems, Stoney, but like, I really want you to elevate. My thing about Sharelle is shut up. Just shut up. If you brought Fancy here for Fancy to give her advice, then shut the hell up. Like Fancy end up saying like, Sharelle, you doing all this talking, shut up. Just be like, look, the way that Sharelle should have did it is, hey, Stoney, I know me and you wasn't really in the best place, but I really wanted to support you. So I brought Fancy, who is like a boutique person. He owns his own boutique and maybe he can help you. And I'm going to let you have a conversation and walk away. That's what you should have did. You should have left Fancy there for them to have a conversation as boutique owners and walk away. Because Sharelle, you're a great business owner, but you're not a boutique owner. So the reason why you bought Fancy is so that he can help her in that way. You don't really know much. You don't know shit about that. So when Sharelle is saying, well, don't you want to elevate, Stoney? And don't you want to elevate? So like, you got to get better pieces. And Stoney is trying to explain to Sharelle like, yes, I want to elevate, but there's a difference in the elevation that I'm trying to do versus Fancy. Fancy sells like custom, like, brand name designer top shit. I don't do that. I do what we call fast fashion. I do shit that can be done very fast, that can sell for that can sell for a decent amount of money, but not breaking the bank. And that's it. So Fancy's model versus Stoney's model, it's gonna be different. Yes, there's a lot of things that Fancy can help her with, but I feel like Sharelle was trying to make it apples to apples when it's apples to oranges. I feel like she just should have stepped out of that conversation, and I feel like Fancy and Stoney would have actually been able to have a productive conversation if Sharelle wasn't there jumping in every 5 seconds. Like, no, but no. And we just wanted, like, shut the hell up. So Fancy pretty much, like I said earlier, said, like, your rack does not stand out. And when you come into a store, you want people to be able to say, oh my gosh, look at her rack. Her racks look amazing. I see a lot of different things on it. You want shit that's going to be on your boutique floor that stands out. And coming into here, there's nothing that stood out. And he wasn't lying. And I really, really, really like Stoney, but he was not lying. And again, as over the top as Fancy is, he gave very solid advice to Stoney. And, I hope that she takes it. But Stoney pretty much said that she's doing wholesale versus boutique. Like, that is where she wants to pivot to. She wants to pivot to selling wholesale to other boutiques. So with that being said, it's a little bit different, right? So we get on to the very last episode. Episode, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't got really much to say. Okay, what we got? Keita's mom. We see Keita and her mom. Keita dresses like, I think Portia said this, but Keita dresses like a 50s/60s housewife. Her whole aesthetic is a 50s/60s housewife. So maybe I can see maybe like why Tyreek might really like be attracted to her for that, because she gives very like homely, wifely I'm in the kitchen cooking. Like, that's what she gives. She gives all of that. But anyway, she talks about, obviously, the whole baby situation, with all of the other kids and how, they didn't know till after they got married. Then they talk about very briefly, I don't know if you guys remember, but like, maybe like sometime, I don't know if maybe it was last year. There was a video that went around of Tyreek going to a game and then him being pulled over and snatched out the car, and it wasn't until his agent came and was like, bruh, that's Tyreek Hill and he's on his way to a game, that they let him go. But see, it just gives, all that does to me is like it just gives credence to everything that Lexi has been saying to Jules the last couple episodes, which is like, bitch, even Tyreek Hill in fucking Florida can get his ass pulled out of a fucking car on the ground with none but cops and then damn near knee on his back. Your lowly Jules ass, you wouldn't even get that if we called the police over here because you was fighting. Anyway, so, okay, they're having this little volleyball event, right? So all of the girls and all of the couple, not just the girls, but the guys are going to come too. Everybody shows up to the beach. It's actually a very nice black ass time. I will say that the first half of the season versus second half of the season is very different. The first half of the season is what like is used to like draw us in as a viewer. It's very drama filled. It's a lot of petty shit. The second half of the season is more so like, more like relaxed. Everybody seems to be getting along a whole lot better. It's more about the women's business acumen. And I'm not saying that I have a problem with that. I think shows like W.A.G.s to Riches, it needs a combination of both, which is what like Real Housewives of Potomac is missing, which is we need drama, but we also need luxury, and we need to see y'all niggas actually on y'all business. And I feel like this show did a good job at that. The biggest difference, like I said, is that the first half was just very drama-filled, episodes 1 through 4, and then episodes 5 through 8 was more like a little bit more like dialed back in from the drama and more heavy on like the women's personal lives, their business, and all that, which I think was great. Let me make sure I'm saying that. I think that's great. So all of the girls come, to the volleyball event. Everybody's having a nice time or whatever. I literally almost freaked the hell out when Keita fell during the volleyball thing. I said, Keita, go. Why are you even on this volleyball? Go sit your Keita. Go sit your ass down. Go sit your. There is a baby in there. We don't got time for no complications. I ain't got time to be seeing you on the blogs upset, sad. I don't got time to see Tyreek. Sit your ass down next to Portia and let everybody else. Sit your ass down. So, did that. MJ's having a conversation with everybody about how everything's going. Jules comes. We see Jules walk in. Right? And who does Jules walk in with? No other than Ryan Garcia. And at that point, I said, this shit's a setup. Once I seen Jules with Ryan Garcia walk, I said, yo, she's playing. This is a setup. Jules is talking about Sharelle and them set her up. This is a setup if I've never seen one. All of the people, out of all of the people on God's green earth, bitch, you was better off walking in with Kanye than Ryan Garcia, who, as Lexi just said, that he just said the N-word the day before yesterday. Ryan Garcia is a boxer who's very known for, similar to Jules, being except probably way more blatant in his racism. What are we talking about? All of the people, all of the people in Miami, all of the dicks you done sucked. You was allegedly in that car with Terrence J when that car crashed and he disappeared, and whatever girl he was with, which allegedly was you. There's all of the peens. You could have brought Duke. All of the peens in Miami. All of the peens. You be on so much black peen. All of the peen. All of the black peen in Miami, Florida. Hell, in South Florida. Hell, in Tallahassee, bitch. Bitch, in Orlando with Disney and Goofy and all of them. Bitch, in Puerto Rico, where you from. Bitch, over there in Italy, where your people is from. All the peen in the world. And you decide, as somebody who was just accused of being racist, walk in with a dignified racist peen? It's a setup. From that moment, I said, nope, it's cut. I don't want her back next season. She set y'all up. This was all. You cannot tell me that Jules did not purposefully walk in with Ryan Garcia to A, prove a point, and to B, fucking messy. That's messy, and it's not in a good way. Nobody got time to be playing your racist ass games. I was like, if I was somebody, I would have been like, get your ass out of here. You're playing yet again. Yet again, as Lexi said, you claim to be us so badly. But as Kendrick said, they're not like us. They're not like us. You are not like us. You are not like us for you to think it's okay for you to bring Ryan Garcia to an all-black event. You not like us. You not tapped in. You don't know what the fuck goes on in the culture. You are so out of touch. So out of touch. Like I said, the fact that you even keep talking about Kanye shows how much out of touch. But for you to bring that man, when he literally had just said, like Lexi said, maybe the day before yesterday, the N-word, and double down on what he said. Get her ass out of here. Get her ass out of here. By that point, I was done with Jules. I said, if Jules come back next season, I promise to God, I'm not watching. Because that means that y'all are literally letting that happen. And I'm over it. So, we find out that Sade is pregnant. I'm so happy for you, Sade. I hope that you have a beautiful, 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 beautiful baby. I'm very happy for you and Robbie. I hope that y'all just have a wonderful, beautiful, expansive life. I really do. Wait, what do the people do? Wait, I think that's how you do it, right? That's how I feel about y'all. I'm so happy for you. Then we have this last little event with Sharelle and the people that she's merging up with. Yet again, I want to point this out that yet again, on the boat, when, because Sharelle pulled up on a boat with the other people, with the other owners, I want to be clear that yet again, they asked about where's Chad, so did everybody else the minute she stepped off that boat, and the fact that she also kept emphasizing during that boat ride that there's gonna be a lot of my agents are dating or are married to athletes and celebrities, so we're gonna be using their connections. I'm only saying that to give credence into what Chad said, which we'll get into in a damn second. So she gets off the boat. It was a really, really, really beautiful party. Again, let me say this. As much as I've dragged Sharelle throughout all 8 of these damn episodes, I want to say again that I am very happy for Sharelle. I am very proud of Sharelle as a black woman for having the business that she is. The fact that she's able to put other women on the way, other black women on the way that she is. The fact that she's been able to create a level of wealth for her and all of her children to where she doesn't necessarily need a man. I am very happy and very proud of her as another black woman. That's no cap. All bullshit aside. Very happy for her, right? So, everybody, all of the girls come or whatever. So you have Stoney and MJ. They're at the bar and, there were some of the other girls in talking. And Stoney pretty much says that she heard that Sharelle and Chad's relationship was more of a PR relationship. They can kind of, both do their own thing. If she want to talk to somebody else, she can. If he want to talk to somebody else, then, she can. And Chad was like, that's a serious accusation. You can't just be saying that about people and not have nothing. She was like, I'm just telling you what I heard. So let me tell you how real of a bitch that Stoney is. And I like you, Sharelle, but unlike Sharelle, who gonna sit there and talk shit about her behind her back, Stoney was like, let me talk to you, Sharelle. Pull Sharelle to the side and say, hey, I just want to have a conversation with you, about your relationship, because I'm hearing some things. And she was like, so what are you hearing? She was like, what's coming to me is that you guys pretty much are kind of like, not like in an open kind of relationship, kind of sort of where like, he could do him and you could do you. And Sharelle was like, and when they said that to you, what was your answer? What? Because I know that you was talking shit. And she was like, well, I said, oh, okay, well, like, let me find out what's going on here. And she pretty much was like, so Sharelle was like, so let me get this right. So people are saying that we're in an open relationship, that we're in a close, like, I'm not understanding. She was like, well, what I'm hearing is that you guys are together because it looks good on paper, like for images purposes. But reality, you guys are both doing your own thing, and especially because, I heard he likes threesomes. And Sharelle was like, threesomes? And she was like, yeah, I mean, not with you, but with other people. So like, that's why I'm asking. So Stoney was like, for real, what I'm saying, Sharelle's that me and you aren't that different. She was like, no, we very much so are different. We're not the same. And Stoney was like, Mo, my whole thing is if we gonna be in this circle, I'm just trying to make sure that it's tight or whatever. And, I just wanted to let you know, like, what was being said. And so Sharelle was like, well, be clear, like, we're not together for PR relationship, but for PR. We are together, and whatever is done in the dark will come to light. And it literally ends like that. I said, child, little do you know where you at, where you at, boy, you say you would be there for me. Shout out to Jennifer Hudson. Where you at, where you at, where Chad's at, where he at. So that was pretty much the end of the season. I do think that the season ended pretty weirdly, like for them to end it on that, I won't say cliffhanger, but kind of back and forth with Stoney and Sharelle. But it does kind of show me that there's possibly like a season 2 coming, which I want to say this. If Netflix is asking me, I think you guys should renew for season 2. Please do. Honestly, as much as Sharelle got on my nerves, you could honestly, as much as I dragged like Sharelle and Portia and Ashley, you can honestly keep them. I'm not mad at the cast. As much shit as I talked, I actually like the cast, and I hope that going into next season, we can kind of back off a little bit of Sharelle and like her life and get more into like Portia and Ashley and some of the other girls and see, Lexi also went on a date too. That was cute. But I'm hoping that we can get a little bit more into the girls. The only thing that I'm asking is for you guys to remove Jules. That's it. Y'all could replace Jules with somebody else, so y'all could just remove her altogether, and that's fine. That means it will just be Stoney and Sade that's clicked up, and the rest of you bitches could be clicked up together. That's fine. But I really like the cast. I really do think y'all should come back for a season 2. But the whole PR situation, right, that Stoney said. Now, I touched on this very briefly in my other video, but somebody told me to like watch the little podcast or whatever that I guess is Sharelle, Ashley, and Portia, and how they kind of talk about some of the things. Y'all get in the comments and tell me if y'all want me to do a reaction to their, like they had like a little live reaction, like little thing that they did yesterday, about the show. So if y'all would like me to react to that live, it's about an hour long, so I will probably be here for a long time, but just let me know and I can review that. But a lot of I want to say the reason why it sounds a little bit plausible about the whole PR thing is, like I said, specifically what happened with the whole breakup / Shannon Sharp podcast where we are now. Like I said, a couple months ago, Chad Ochocinco had came on a nightcap and pretty much said that him and Sharelle was no longer engaged anymore. Cool. The next, God knows how many shows is picking at Chad about the fact that they're not together. Then a couple of weeks ago, it comes out that the podcast that Sharelle, Lexi, and Portia have together is now going to be living under Shannon Sharp's network. Now, at first, it was a little joke like, Chad Ochocinco didn't know, but that was a joke. He did know. He said he actually helped her get that. So with all of that being said, that can be a little bit confusing to people. Like, And then the fact that this show just came out, it all does seem a little PR-y, let's kind of conjure up this fact that me and you are not together, and you did all of this shit to hurt me, although we're never gonna really confirm what it is, but you can kind of put hints that maybe you cheated on me. So like, let's do all of that, right? And then let me get under Shannon's podcast network so that people are a little confused, and then let's play off of that by like lying and acting like you didn't know when you did know, and then my show comes out right after that, so we can have like all of the build up from everything that happened from the last couple of months to this. If Sharelle is as good as a businesswoman as she says, I can see her definitely doing that for sure. Sharelle said during this end episode or ending scene with Stoney, her confession, like, oh, I don't do things because of how this person will look at me, when she, accused her of the PR thing. Oh, I don't care about what this person thinks about me or what that person thinks about me because that's stopping me from getting for money. And I'm like, that's crazy, because you literally started on two opposite ends for this season. The top of the season and the majority of the season was reputation. I can't have certain people around me. The people that's around you, other people judge them, so you have to worry about that, and judgy what everybody else thinks. You went from that to now at the end of the season, I don't care what people have to think about me because that doesn't get me any money, and when your whole thing has been about that. So like, just stop. But I want to say some of the things, Sharelle has, like, let's be clear. This show did no favors for Sharelle. And as Santana said, Sharelle, the comments are not on your side. The comments are not on your side. I've been dragging Sharelle all up and down my Twitter, and I don't think I've got that many engagements or likes or retweets in a while on my content. I'm talking about on my Twitter. But the likes and the retweets and the bookmarks are racking up on any time I drag Sharelle on Twitter. I just want to be real about that. But I want to talk about, like I said, some of the stuff that I saw that kind of makes me question the whole thing, and maybe you are doing this for PR, right? So if I'm going to Baller Alert, right? So one of the things here, and I'm just going to show y'all so y'all can kind of like see, right? This is Baller Alert, right? So somebody commented under like a post about the show and said, $3 million a year, 25% of nightcap. Please tell me that's a joke. Either it's a joke or you're marrying for money, not love. I look at you so different now. Tomatoes. If Ocho Cinco marries you, he deserves to be robbed. Sharelle wrote back and said, you know damn well, LOL, it is, come on, it's TV, LOL. So what you're saying is that whole scene with you and Chad was not real. Y'all really ain't really asking for that much amount of money, which can kind of lead into what Stoney said about this all being for PR. That literally gives credence to what she just said. And then if we go on, the next thing comment says, nothing empowering about this show. If you are all that, no need to be mean and repeat yourselves. Your power and validation should come from within and exude light onto others. How old are all of you acting like high school jealous weirdos? And Sharelle's response to that is, it's a show. I don't even know if y'all can see it. Don't take it serious. And then somebody said, I'm so disappointed in the way you acted towards people. I hope the more episodes I watch, you become more hopeful. I appreciate it. Keep watching. Meaning, yes, as time goes on, she will. But when people ask you about the Chad thing, you say it's a show. And then when people call you out about it, oh, it's a show. So back to what Stoney said. So you're fake, right? So you're fake. We're not stupid. We know that it's a show, but it's a reality show. And if you are literally admitting, in Netflix, I hope y'all catch this. If you are literally admitting, pretty much saying that all of that shit was fake, me and Chad really ain't going back and forth like that over that, I wasn't really being mean or whatever, it could either A to B to cover your ass, because I feel like Sharelle knows that she's getting dragged across social media. So now you want to flip it to, oh, it's just a show. So again, either you're fake as hell and you've been lying this whole season about everything, Or number two, you've been getting dragged so badly, and because this show did not show you, well, I want to say this show, because you did not give your best self on this show, you are now trying to tell everybody, oh, that's just TV, that's just how it is, right? But then, sorry, if I go to your Twitter, right? Let me go to her Twitter, right? If I go to her Twitter, right? She is pretty much like reposting stuff of people being like, oh, I really fuck with you. Everybody's just hating. And then there's something right here, right? That's from @the real Eliza Rain. And I want to show, because I don't want to show that I'm lying. And that is Sharelle's profile right here, right? And then you guys see the video right here, right? Okay. The video from Eliza Rain says, Stoney is, in all capital letters, not innocent. Sharelle has every reason to not want to be affiliated with her. Who goes to a Netflix premiere acting a fool, trying to fight other women? Stoney is not innocent. At Sharelle, I don't blame you, sis. Stoney is a bully and been a bully. And then Sharelle literally reposted it, as y'all can see, and then put like these little face emojis. Now this video pretty much shows like people kind of like running back and forth, a whole bunch of women. But my thing is, if Stoney did show up to the Netflix premiere wanting to fight, this is my thing. That's after Sharelle did everything that she did. So that's not even a valid excuse, Sharelle, because all of that is after. This is all after. You done already talked shit about the girl before you knew her, called her a hood rat before you met her. So it's not like you can like say she did all of this trying to fight me and then I said all of that about her. No, you said all of that about her before even knowing her. So when I see that, all that shows me is that you really didn't change. And I forgot to bring this the hell up. But on one of those, maybe I didn't bring it up in, I'm trying to remember if I brought it up in episode 6, but when they had that party, right, at the very end of the episode, when it was like Sharelle was like, doing her big, like, reveal of the party, and Chad and everybody came and everything was cool. At the very end, you had Stoney and Sharelle having a conversation trying to clear the air. And what Sharelle said to Stoney was, what I figured out is you just don't want to change and you don't want to be a better woman. So my thing is, maybe I could just meet her where you at. So my thing is, even in that, you didn't even really apologize. You just said, well, I just have to accept that you don't want to not be a hood rat. That's pretty much what you said. And to me, it's just trash. So all of those tweets and those comments just let me further know that Stoney was dead ass right for everything she said about her after when she was talking to Jules, after she was invited, because it's clear that Sharelle is still on that shit. Period. Plain blank period. But other than that, I really like the show. I'm sad a little bit, y'all, because I had a really nice time reviewing the show. I had a nice time like going back and forth with y'all in the comments. But I'm kind of sad that this is coming to an end. But I really had a nice time reviewing this show. If there are any other shows that you guys would like me to review, please put in the comments and I will hop my black ass on here and I will do it. But y'all stay safe. See you later. Bye.